Well, let's talk about as far as the second round of talks are concerned. We know exactly where it will be headed, but when it will be led, that, however, still remains to continue as a suspense. Ahead of the second round of dialogue in Islamabad, President Trump, however, seems to have issued another statement saying that he is winning the war by a lot. Where Trump, however, has been calling out on fake media reports saying they don't believe in them and America is winning this war, as President Trump has also issued another warning to Iran to say that the naval blockade will remain if there is a no deal. Well, this is now coming at a time when a U.S. delegation, which is expected to travel to Pakistan in the coming days for the new round of direct negotiations with Iran, despite Tehran not confirming its participation. However, these talks would mark the second attempt, the face-to-face discussions in Islamabad. And President Trump, however, seems to report that it is highly unlikely that he would extend the ceasefire. The ceasefire that comes to an end. However, he believes that there is no end to the agreement that was reached by the deadline, then a lot of bombs will start to go off. That seems to be the threat that has now come in from President Trump. Let's, in the meantime, take a look exactly what President Trump has now said. As far as the naval blockade is also concerned, he says that it will remain in place till the time a new deadline with Iran is not reached. And as far as his Truth Social is now concerned, because President Trump has now said that a lot of media reports that has been doing the rounds don't believe in them. However, he continues to maintain that I'm winning a war by a lot and things are going very well and our military has been amazing. And he says that if you go across as far as reading the fake news, he's been taking out on certain new media outlets as well, where he says that the enemy is confused because they get the same media reports and yet they realize that the Navy has been completely wiped out. The Air Force has gone into darker runways and they have no anti-missile or anti-airplane equipment. Their former leaders are mostly gone. And this has been, in addition to everything else, regime change. Well, US still maintains that they have been able to do that. But however, he says that more important of all is the blockade. We will not take it off until a deal is absolutely reached. And they are now losing $500 million every day, an unsustainable number even in the short run. And the anti-America fake news media is rooting for Iran to win, but it is not going to happen because I am in charge. Well, however, he continues to maintain that the naval blockade will still remain in place. Let's connect with Mayank on this. Mayank, good morning. I believe today is the day when the ceasefire actually comes to an end, but we still don't know when the second round of talks will happen.
Definitely. And amidst this suspense, lots of war of words, as you have already brought out, is taking place between both Iran and the US side. And President Donald Trump himself is leading the entire verbal duel, actually. So what we see, the suspense as far as it is concerned, it has boiled down to one aspect, which is enrichment of the uranium. And but then the way Iran has used Strait of Hormuz as a strategic tool, it is also coming to the fore. And in last 2 days, when we heard that not only were Indian ships fired upon, but a French ship was also fired upon, and on their special communication network, the merchant vessels, they have a different and specialized communication network. On that, they had talked about the firing and all. So what you saw is actually the last word for as far as Strait of Hormuz goes, it remains closed. Whether it has been blockaded on one side, which is on the entrance side, which is northern western side of Arabian Sea. On that side, the warships have been placed by the US, whereas within the narrow strip of Strait of Hormuz, it is Iran which is calling the shots. They had brought out two conditions, which is saying that people will have to take permission from IRGC, one, and two, they will have to follow a corridor which was chalked out or which was created by the IRGC. So both sides have put up a kind of a front for each other. But then having said that, the danger always looms large because of the one, mines, and two, the capability of Iran with regards to the anti-ship missiles and the drones, successful use of drones they have been displaying since 28th of February. So that is what it is actually. But then the final discussion is happening on the percentage of uranium enrichment.
I think we're going to
Whether
wait
that
and watch exactly what happens from here on, Mayank, because will the delegation actually depart for Pakistan for the second round of talks? Because President Trump, in a way, has also been announcing that there will be no extension of this so-called ceasefire, where it has been fragile, but it is still nevertheless holding on till now.